Person 112. So I have had about 22 days off from doing this work, and when I went in today to do this, it was a very different experience. I didn't connect the same way I usually do, so I'm not sure if that's attributed to you and what you needed to hear, or if this is my process changing. So we can connect more later if I come up with more details surrounding the experience. But I typically go in and when I'm in my heart center, I'll move through the sacred space of the heart and then onto the rainbow road and do the reading. And what happened was, when I got into my heart space, I, instead of going through the sacred space of the heart, I went then up through the chakra column and out through the crown of my head, and took this path. And it was interesting, when I went into the heart space, there was almost like this, and I don't know what it's not a ukulele, but it's that old from like I can see it in like a Disney movie, in Sleeping Beauty, like the jester, the court musician would have it. It's like a guitar, but it has like a really big, like almost like a gourd belly to it, and it makes that really pretty sound, almost like a harp mixed with a guitar. And so this music is like playing, and I'm getting pulled back to that, like a that time frame. And it's like in medieval times. That's like coming up in my head. I know we used to in California have a sawdust festival. It's like that. I can't. I think it's like the knights and the round table. It's like that time period. And so when I go out the crown chakra of my head, I'm pulled up into the stars, and I'm following a rainbow path, and I get on this huge ship, and I'm again following this music. And as I get on this ship, it's almost like the sirens of the seas are singing to me, like luring me into the ship, and they start singing me the song, and I'm never gonna remember it, but it was basically, they're saying your name, and they're saying, we're gonna take you on a journey, and everything's like lyrical and rhyming, and they're saying, we're gonna take you on a journey to see her life, to understand why, and basically like understand why there is no flow, and they were basically showing me like that that the path will be clear, and almost as if that there's something restricting, or there's something blocking at this point. I felt very blocked, and they were almost like showing me like the path is going to unfold as we go along this journey. And so I'm on this big like pirate ship looking thing, and it's we're like out in the universe, blackness and just stars, and it's really beautiful, and like the ship is like almost like bouncing in the stars, as if the stars are waves, and every time it like bounces, like stardust goes flying behind it. It was really beautiful scenery. And so we pull up to this one like huge big movie screen, it looks like, and there's this like court musician playing for me and singing to me and explaining what's going on, and I see this big black and white movie, and it's almost like Alfred Hitchcock, where I feel like I don't know what that movie is, the shower scene, that famous shower scene, and they're saying, she fears the man behind the curtain, there's uncertainty about the man behind the curtain. And so I'm getting that whole shower scene where it's like the infamous like chocolate syrup was used, I think, when he's like stabbing her or something, and so I get all I'm seeing is the black and white, the female, her hands up like screaming and like kind of moving backwards, and then I hear that really famous, I think, song. It almost sounds like a cello, where it's like dun 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 dun, and I think it's the end of that Alfred Hitchcock scene, and it's just those like few notes that play in that really kind of dark, just sad, dreary kind of sound. But it's like, I don't know, it's a really famous, I think, at that shower scene song. And so that's like what I'm seeing replayed over and over, and what I'm hearing, and I'm getting this like musician is telling me that she's fearing what's uncertain. She's fearing the man behind the curtain type of a thing, or she's uncertain over the man behind the curtain. And so from here, then the boat, this big ship, moves on. We go away from this like drive-in movie theater. And so we're sailing again in this path, and then we pull up to what looks like a wormhole, but instead of it being like a wormhole with like the white colors, it's like rainbow colors, and I see almost like a square with a circle in the middle of it, but the circle is like that concave circle that's pulling inwards, so it feels like everything's being sucked in, and so it's like this beautiful rainbow colors being pulled into this wormhole. And so they dock this big ship and make me kind of walk the plank, and like walking the plank into this big wormhole, and I get sucked into the wormhole. And it's interesting because then this like rainbow color basically goes out and it starts circling around and around and around and around the ship, almost like it's wrapping it like a gift or something in it. So it's completely encasing the ship, this wooden ship, in this rainbow colored light. And now I see it's you. Like I go into the wormhole, but you kind of come out and you're wrapping and wrapping. And so when this entire ship is completely wrapped up in this rainbow color, you then lay down on the very top deck, and you lay down, you're exhausted. I can see your chest going up and down and up and down. And I'm seeing you. It's almost like now it's complete. And they're telling me that this ship is the vessel. This is the vessel. This is your vessel. And this is the vessel that's taking you through life. And they're saying that there's this strain. There's this, it's almost like there's this, and it's not rush. Rush isn't the right word, but it's like there's this immediacy, or there's this need to completely have, and I get rainbow light as like the transcendence. It's the spiritual path for me. The rainbow road has always been what guides me, to the next highest kind of plateau in spirituality. And so I'm getting that there's this need, or this desire to completely harmonize your vessel in the most spiritual light, right? So I'm getting that there's this immediate need to be the most perfect kind of spiritual representation of yourself. And it's like exhausting you, and I feel like you have nothing left. You're like sprawled out on the top of this deck when it's all done, and you're just like panting. But it's complete type of a thing. Like you've kind of done it, right? So I get that there's this exhaustive kind of quality of you trying to purify your vessel. So now moving on, the ship's bouncing again in the light and in the starlight, and now we pull up to the dock. And I see this third now, movie, or well, it's the second movie screen, but this third thing that's happening. So I see this movie screen again, and it's got all these clouds in it, and it feels very light and airy, and so I'm almost reaching out to the clouds. And as I reach out to the clouds, I get pulled in, and I'm, again, like almost like a wormhole, getting sucked down through the clouds, and I'm getting closer and closer to Earth, and I see all these houses, rooftops. It's almost like I'm seeing like a community planned out, and I get pulled right down and into the middle of one roof, and now I'm in the center of a home. And in the center of the home, I see you sitting on this chair, and I see you, and there's this energy around you that's like this vortex, or it's like a tornado almost. Like there's this orb or a bubble around you on this chair, and everything inside that orb is like still, I would say almost like stagnant, because it's not moving, and it feels kind of dense and heavy. And then on the outside of this orb, everything is flying at like 100 miles an hour. Like I see, kids and a husband, and I see everything flying around and around and around and around. And almost like when they speed up at night, like the cars' headlights, on commercials, like they'll speed up those lights. Like that's what I feel like moving around you, is all of these orbs of light moving around you, and you're in the middle, your head's down, your eyes are closed, and you're like almost rubbing the bridge of your nose right by the eyebrows. And it's like this total inconsistency between the energy inside of where you are and the energy outside of you. And so again, I'm getting this in the very beginning when they started singing the song of opening up your path and allowing your path to unfold. and I'm getting here again, there's something with harmony and balance, and there's very different energies between whatever you're holding on to and whatever is external or outside of you. And there feels like this big difference in energy between whatever you're holding on to and the world that's happening like right outside of your orb of energy. And so from here, I get pulled back. We're now back up into the ship, and we make our final kind of dock. And so you and I then exit this big ship, and we go straight up like the side of a mountain, but it's the Rainbow Road, and we move straight up, and there's this door that's illuminated again. We're still in like the blackness of space, and so I just see this big wooden door, and there's like this light glowing behind it. So I know we're gonna be moving into your Akashic records, and so you and I stand right outside of this door, and when you're ready, you open the door and we move in. And as soon as we move in, our feet hit this like metal walkway, and I hear these clanking boots on this metal walkway. And I look at you, and we're both in like Halo, the Xbox game Halo. We're in full decked out Halo gear and like those illuminated helmets, and we've got the guns, and our arms are up, and now we're in like Halo mode. And I've never, I mean, I don't know anything about this game, but I know these two characters, I think, this is what came to my mind, Halo. And so we walk in, and as soon as we get to the edge of this like metal walkway, it opens up to this huge pyramid, and we start scanning with our guns, and I know we're hunting aliens. And so there's everything's dark, we have no clue what's lurking around the corner, and I feel like we're getting ready to shoot up in the corners and the angles of these things in this huge expansive room, and there's tons of fear. It's like it's just total fear and darkness, and we are ready to take some alien butt together. So I'm understanding now that there's this fear of the unknown, and again, I'm getting pulled back to the man behind the curtain. She's uncertain. I'm getting the path and allowing the path to unfold, and I'm getting the two different energies that are circling you, all these things, that this striving for this perfection of harmony with spirituality. I'm getting all of these things now as an indicator of what we are experiencing in the Akashic records, and that's usually what happens. It's almost as if there's this fear of the unknown, and so as soon as I get this, everything turns light. We drop our Halo costumes, and now we're in the center of this huge great pyramid, and it's like illuminated with this golden yellow light, and right in the center, I see you almost in this kind of almost like a toga style outfit, and you walk right up to this very center kind of fountain, and there's like seats around it. You sit down and you start drinking from this fountain, and so I'm getting wisdom is the words I'm hearing attached to this fountain, and so I see you drinking this wisdom or this elixir from your own Akashic records. And so at this point you're drinking, and so I call down your higher self, and as your higher self descends, he comes down, and he looks like, and I'm going to say the word, I think his name is Anubu from the Egyptian mythology. I think that's his name. He's the black-headed, like that black dog head looking thing, with the white like shirt. And so this is what your higher self takes the form of. And it's interesting because as soon as I see him in this way, I get a hit of that movie, the Stargate movie, that was like a really scary movie, and these people open up a Stargate and they go into a pyramid and they start fighting things, and it's kind of a scary movie. And the things they were fighting looked like this Anubu thing, and that's now I'm getting pulled back to the very beginning of where we were fighting what we thought were aliens, and it was a big unknown and this fear of what we were fighting. And now I'm seeing that we were really fighting your higher self, and so there's this really interesting dynamic now. That's, I wonder, this fear, this resistance. I feel like there's a better word than that, but there's almost this the fear of the unknown is really you know, that it's almost like that's the salvation. It's like being vulnerable to the unknown is going to allow you to be the most connected to your higher self. And so when I call down your higher self and he takes this shape, I ask, you know, what's for the greatest good for this person to know at this moment in time? And they say, basically are telling me you have to let go of this fear of this unknown. You have to let go of this fear because it's basically creating these two different worlds, and I'm pulled back to you in the bubble and then the world kind of being 100 miles an hour around you. It's almost like this is creating a disharmony within how you're operating in your everyday life. And your higher self looks at me and says, this is why you are all here. This is why you're taking the journey as humans, is to reawaken to your divine selves. And it's meant to be unknown. Every day is meant to be exciting and unknown and a new adventure. And when you take so much of this energy on as trying to control and manipulate, but that's not the right word, but trying to forecast what should happen, trying to forecast, again, like the man behind the curtain, she's uncertain. Like there's all this fear of these things that you don't know or you don't control or that are out of your control. And it's almost as if this is what they're trying to, like, it's almost like this is what they're going to keep throwing at you. I get that you're getting that third vision of you sitting in this orb, this ball, and the world's happening around you. It's like they're going to continue to give you things that are unknown and uncertain and are a mystery, that are going to make you vulnerable to allow you to open up to your highest wisdom, your highest destiny, because that, again, remember when we go into your pyramid, we're fighting your higher self basically because we think it's scary. We think that's the alien, but it's really your highest wisdom, your highest self, your highest, most loving guide, you know? So it's like you're resisting this complete opening. I feel like this is a next step. This is a next plateau. This is a next level for you. If you can let go of this fear of whatever this is that's the unknown in your life and open up and be completely vulnerable to it, that's when you almost like surrender yourself to this divinity, to that, as you wrap the ship in that entire rainbow. Like that's what you're seeking, is this complete balance of divinity in within yourself, in your vessel. But you're working so hard at it that you're blocking it. And so if you can just be vulnerable and open up to that of the unknown, it's almost as if that's when your higher self reveals itself. And so then I asked one more time, I said, is there anything else that this person needs to know at this moment in time? And they said, stop second guessing yourself. You must move. And I wanted to add move on. It felt right, but they didn't say on. They just said, stop second guessing yourself. You must move. So I'm not sure if that resonates with you or not, but I felt like move on, like you must move on from this, but they didn't say on, so they said you must move. So I hope this made sense. With light and love.